tonight, the Reds, talking Reds, it's Friday. The Reds are playing tomorrow. I've got to be honest with you, this isn't going to be a classic talking Reds. The main reason is Avenue HQ, where we've got our office. They had a bit of a bevy last night for everyone who works out of here. Yeah, karaoke, pound drinks, all that kind of thing. Everyone went a bit wild in their own way. I actually thought it was sensible and got off early, but then drank like a skip of wine when I got in. So yeah, everyone's a bit hungover. Gibbo's trying to get us to close the office and go on the aisle, and it's like 11 o'clock.
He's been hounding me all morning. Craig, are we going for a pint? Are we going to the Beehive? Are we going to the Beehive? I think I'm just gonna give in after this. I think. Yeah,
we'll do all our content and then get off. I think.
But can I just say, right? Robbo's notes here are absolutely fucking shite, to be honest.
No, they're not.
They are. Robertson is sound.
Well, he is, isn't he? Robertson is sound. I mean, Andy Robertson, less than 20 games for Liverpool Football Club, and we're already singing his name, and we're enjoying his play, and we're enjoying the fact that he runs forever and all that sort of thing. And I think he is sound, and that's why I've put him on the thing. There's a big interview with him in the Echo today, which is worth a read, with James Pearce. Robertson exclusive. My bond with fans means so much to me, he says there. And yeah, I mean, he talks about the relationship with the fans, the fact that we're singing his name already. He says it's an unbelievable feeling to have that relationship. To hear them singing your name gives me a wee bit of a lift. I'm grateful for how they've welcomed me. You want the fans to be on your side. I feel like they've taken to me, and I've taken to them quite quickly. Talks about the effort he puts in as well. He says whether things are coming off and whether I'm finding people with me crosses, I always give 100%. That's the way I've been since I was a kid. It's no secret that my family and I used to go and watch Celtic. I've always had a passion for football, and that's not changed from being at Queen's Park, Dundee United, Hull or Liverpool. Wherever I've been, I've given my all, and I think that comes across in the way he plays, and that's why, you know, we've taken to him so well. And we talked about this on the Pro View yesterday with Steve Warnock, which was a good chat. And I said to Steve, you know, you're a professional footballer who's played, you know, 500 and odd games. Like, how much does it mean to you when you hear your name being chanted? And he's like, yeah, you know, it does really make a difference. It lifts you, it makes you feel good, it makes you feel like you're doing your job right. And so, you know, yet again, it's just the thing, isn't it, of take the best version of yourself to Anfield when you go. You know, when you go on Saturday and we're playing Newcastle, support the boys, get behind them, sing the names, you know, encourage them. Don't call them you, fucking hate you, you know, and all that shit, and be negative about them, because I'm quite sure the opposite applies as well. You know what I mean? If you give them absolutely down the banks, then they're not going to play as well. They maybe won't try that risky pass, won't try and beat a man. They maybe turn back, play it inside. They don't want to be the one that gives the ball away. I think you've seen that down the years with, you know, Stuart Downing's always one that jumps out for me, and that he had some ability, but yeah, his confidence was just absolutely shattered dead early as a Liverpool player. And he just wouldn't do anything. You know, he wouldn't try anything. And he knew the fans were on his case as well. I mean, do you remember he scored the goal?
I was just about to say
that.
For
Liverpool.
In front of the Kop. Yeah.
Went like this to his own fans, and that was basically him saying, fuck off, see, I've scored a goal. And, you know, that underlines my point, really. You talk for a bit now.
So, Robertson is signed. Graham Hunter podcast is signed. Yeah, I listened to it yesterday, actually. It was one of Graham Hunter's podcasts. He had Andy Robertson on there, and really, really good, because obviously it's interesting for us to hear about his move to Liverpool and what it's like to play under Klopp and to play with players like, he talks about Coutinho's departure and a bit about that, but it's also interesting to hear a little bit about his background. He was a Celtic season ticket holder until I think he was 18. He obviously plays for Queen's Park, and it's just an interesting story. I think that's one of the
he was let go by Celtic, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was as a kid, yeah. So he was let down, and he sort of fought his way to where he is now. But he comes across as just a really down-to-earth, nice lad as well. That's what I really liked about him. And we've heard before that when Klopp met with him, he was impressed by him, and he was impressed by his story. And so yeah, get on that. Graham Hunter's podcast is free to listen to. But yeah, it just says here, Robertson is signed. Graham Hunter podcast is signed. My piece on Robertson was signed. Steve Warnock and that.
Oh yeah, my
Your piece.
So yeah, I wrote something for it. I write a column for Unibet. It'll be on my Twitter if you want to have a read. I wrote something on Robertson this week. What I was talking about in there is not just the obvious stuff as well. I was talking about how, you know, these days when clubs are scouting a player, It's not just about how they play in a match. You know, they scout the personality. They look how they are off the field. They look at what the private life is like even. And I managed to pull out an example of Barry Hunter, who's as a scout at Liverpool. When he was involved at City, he was sent away to look at Alexis Sanchez, and like came back saying, oh yeah, he plays tennis and he can play the piano, and he's the last one off the pitch in training and all this. You know, he was literally spying on him. And I actually think it's a good thing, I've got to be honest, because if you're forking out a load of dough, then you need to look into them as much as you can. And you know, you think about like the strength that, you know, you give someone a job on or whatever. I mean, we give this fella a job, and you know,
you've reaped the benefits, haven't you?
You know, what you give people a job on the basis of what an interview for maybe half an hour or an hour and a CV. And in both of those things, you're obviously going to present yourself in the right way, and you don't know what people are really like.
My interview, I got offered my job on the dance floor of Tiki Joe's in town. That's an absolute true story. That was kind of my interview. My interview started in O'Neill's, and I was offered the job in Tiki Joe's. So, well in the lads.
You know, not that there's a big drinking culture around the Anfield app or anything. The other thing that's happening today is Klopp's been talking about, you know, fighting on two fronts really, being able to go deep into Europe and also finish well in the Premier League. And you know, that hasn't always happened, and I think he's had a few questions thrown at him about other sides when they've sort of collapsed a little bit because they've gone deep into competitions or whatever. I mean, 2001 was obviously a great one in terms of, you know, we won the UEFA Cup, we were third in the league, win the FA Cup, win the League Cup. You know, you can't get much better than that in terms of competing on all fronts, if you like. And Liverpool have got the opportunity here to have a great season. But I think what's key about it as well is that everyone's fit. You know, this rotation thing's worked. And you know, all of a sudden, Ray the fitness egg is very, very quiet.
Forgot about him.
You know, he's not having a go at Jurgen Klopp anymore, is he? Because you know, Jurgen's nailed it this season. You know, from the very start, I think Palace, you know, in the first month of the season, you know, Jurgen was rotating all the way back then. He's done it all season, and here we are with, you know, 10 games to go or whatever it is, and everyone's fit, fresh and fired, and even Nathaniel Klein now is, you know, competing for a place as well, and it's fantastic.
It's funny because as fans we sometimes think in the short term, and we think about the game that's coming up. Like I'm as guilty as anyone for doing that. I just think, and you know, there's been times this season, even on this show, where we've talked about the rotation and we've been unhappy that certain players weren't played. Firmino against Everton, for an example, and but like the team are reaping the benefits of it now. You can see everyone looks so fresh. We've clicked into gear at the business end of the season, and it's a genuinely exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. And how Klopp's managed that squad, you know, some of the players that he brought in, we knew that they weren't going to start immediately, but they were going to be squad players. You look at Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, for example. Robertson's another one. We weren't sure that they would just go straight into the squad, but when they were given the chance, they've taken it, and you know, now you can look at them and say that they are going to be one of the you know, they are going to be contenders for the first team sheet every single week. But yeah, he's nailed it pretty much. Who knew? Jurgen Klopp knows more about these things than Gareth and Craig.
and Ray the fitness egg. I mean, it is Newcastle tomorrow, and obviously that will mean Benitez returning to Anfield. You know, be sure of a warm welcome as ever. I mean, I think I'm going to write something on this, because what I think is interesting about this is, you know, once upon a time everyone didn't like Benitez. You know, it was. Hello. It was very much, you know, there was a divide, there was big arguments. I can literally remember people fighting on the cop over Benitez. And I remember going to a game as well, Atletico Madrid, when we dropped out of the Champions League and into the Europa. And went to the game against them at Anfield, and there was like a fella next to me calling our manager a fat Spanish waiter, and I was just like, but that's the way it was. It was toxic. You know, loads of people did actually want him out. Loads of people wanted him in, and they weren't good times. And I think there's been a bit of a romanticism since, in that, you know, all of a sudden now, because there's such a gap, it's like, well, he won us the European Cup, and you know, we had a good run in the league when we finished second and all that sort of stuff. And no one remembers any of the criticisms now. And like, this isn't to have a go at Rafa, I love him, but I just think it's interesting from a human aspect that all of a sudden we don't talk about his rotation, we don't talk about how defensive he was at times, we don't talk about those frustrating draws under him and that sort of thing. And my point is that some people are still like, have a go at Klopp over anything, you know what I mean? Have a go at things he says, the way he celebrates goals, how he acts on the touchline, you know, certain decisions. And look, you just can't, as a manager, because you're at the top of the club and you're making decisions all the time, you literally can't please everyone. No. And so, like, you know, there's some people that proper put, you know, Rafa on this plinth now, and as I say, I'm fine with it. But all I'm saying is, when he was actually here, and when he was actually the manager, people criticised him, just like they are with Klopp. Humans are weird, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, that's it's a wide topic to discuss. Humans are weird. Yeah, we are weird. No, I think I think it's the way we're programmed, Gareth, in that like we remember. The first thing you think of when you think of Rafa Benitez, as you said, is the European Cup, the FA Cup, and the 08-09 season, and that's just the way we are. We remember the good times first, and we put all the annoying aspects of that manager, you know, in the back of our minds. But he's gonna get a great reception tomorrow, and he absolutely deserves it. I love the man, but comparisons with him and Klopp, or Klopp and previous managers, bore me to death because they're completely irrelevant. And
live in the now.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we've got one of the best managers in the world, and it's a genuine, as I said earlier, it's an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. As exciting as I can remember, because probably since the Benitez days, because although we had the 13-14 season, it sort of felt as if like the foundations of that were built on sand. We knew Suarez was going to go. We weren't sure who else in the team. We had Daniel Sturridge, he was never fit, and so on. And I think now we're building towards something, and Klopp's building towards something.
Back in a minute with the papers.
It's turning out to be a fantastic season, this, for Liverpool. 100 and odd goals already hit the back of the net, plenty of good times already, and plenty more to come. We're going to Old Trafford, we're going to Goodison Park, we're going to Stamford Bridge, and we don't have to fear anything out of any of those trips, because Liverpool right now are a match for anyone. We've got Europe too, we've got the Champions League, we've got 1 foot already in the quarter-finals after what we did out in Porto. So we've got plenty to look forward to this season, and at the Anfield Wrap, we'll be there every step of the way, at every game, talking about every game, before the game, after the game, immediately post-match, and in detail. We also talk about football fan culture, about ticket prices, about safe standing, about everything it is to be a fan. And we talk about past matches, past players. There's loads and loads on Liverpool Football Club every day, every week from the Anfield app, and it's only £5 a month. If you're not listening already, why not? Go to the Anfield app /subscribe, get involved.
Today's newspapers then, working through the back pages, the Sane old story. I mean, look, you know, we have some headline chat on here. That's shit. I'm not having that. I know it's supposed to be the same old story, but nah. I'm guessing they just couldn't come up with anything better. But yeah, Arsenal beaten 3-0 last night by Manchester City.
Is that the point in your notes that Arsenal are shit? I'll just read some of these first of all. The papers. Arsenal are shit. Graham Poll says jib VAR. Balotelli. Gravy watch.
What's wrong with that? You know, they're just cues to have a chat about. You know what I mean? And yeah, they're working fine for us. This is turning out to be a classic episode, isn't it?
We'll let them decide, Gareth, I'm going to be honest.
So it was 3-0. It was 3-0 to Manchester City. Arsenal are shit. City scored 3 goals in 18 minutes. And Arsenal now, you know, completely out of top 4 contention as far as I'm concerned. You know, club in crisis. They all hate the manager. All the players, all the fans are just a bit like, we've got no Sam today, so he can't stick his thumb up or down in front of the camera. I'm pretty sure it would be down though. What else? Yeah, Graham Poll is saying jib VAR, and it's the first time in my life that I've agreed with this fella. So that's something. There's lots and lots of VAR chat, and I know they did it a little bit yesterday on the show. I think it's shite, I've got to be honest with you. I think it's not ready to go. It doesn't work. And it needs an absolute rethink if they're going to bring it in. Because right now, if you're in the ground and you're trying to watch the match, this is spoiling your enjoyment as a football fan. So what's the point? Take it away. Let's just crack on and let's accept that mistakes are made by referees. I think what's happening now is that the referees on the pitch when there's VAR are just shitting themselves.
They're paranoid, aren't they?
They're scared to make a decision. That they know everyone's watching. They know there's an even greater scrutiny because of VAR. And so loads of stuff's getting referred that shouldn't be getting referred. And it's just spoiling the enjoyment. Like I say, you know, if you're a fan in the ground, you haven't got the telly, you haven't got the commentary, you don't know what's going on, and it's taken away the spontaneity from it. I mean, like, you know, you score a goal, you want to go nuts, don't you? Yeah. You want to fall over seats, you want to hug people, you want to go mad. And what's happening now is when you know the VAR's there, you're going, oh, well, is it a goal? And you can see a referee on the pitch holding his ear, and it's just a bit of a mess. I mean, the other night, the Tottenham game, you could see all the players throwing their arms up in the air. You could see the manager doing the same. I imagine the fans are doing the same as well, and it's just a bit crap. So yeah, this version of VAR must stop now. It's not working, says Graham Poll. He says obviously it's being trialled at the moment. He says he was a referee for 27 years in charge of 1,554 matches. Fucking boaster there, isn't he? But he just says it's not happening. It's not working. It needs a rethink, and I'm right behind him. Are you?
Yeah, I am. Do you know what? It really grinds my gears. What are you laughing at?
You know what grinds my gears? Fucking Peter Griffin there.
Well, it really annoys me when you see Kevin's laughing behind the camera. Yeah, don't encourage him. It really annoys me when you see ex referees in the media. By the way, like you see them on BT Sport when it goes back to what's the bald one, the cue ball head. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
The Howard Webb. Where it
Hard. Hard Webb.
Should we just cut this and do this one again?
No, carry on.
It annoys me whenever on BT Sport it cuts back to Howard Webb and they're asking him his opinion, and he's going on and he's got 8 screens in front of him, and he goes, oh no, the refs made a terrible decision there, and it's kind of like I feel sorry for the refs. Howard Webb was under that scrutiny, but he didn't have some prick in the BT studio sort of. But then VAR, I just think it's going to get to the stage where referees are so scared to make a mistake, and they're so scared because they've got this computer system in behind them that, like you say, last minute goal. We just know this is going to happen. There'll be a last minute goal scored, and the opposition team because it's whether it's a last minute winner, the opposition team's last chance, they'll think, oh, do you know what? We'll surround the referee and we'll shout at him to go to VAR, just because there's even a slight possibility of it being offside. Now it might not end up being that, but that ruins it for the fans, because then the fans have to wait in anticipation. Their celebrations have been stalled.
And you can't celebrate when a VAR decision's given. It's too long after the goal.
It's just like,
it's a goal. And it's like, there's still a subjectivity to it as well. I mean, just because you're watching on a telly, like if a defender's running alongside an attacker and he goes, fuck off, and the fella falls over, well, is that a pen? Because just because you're watching a million times on a replay, you've still got to decide whether that was enough contact, whether that constituted a foul. You've still got to make a subjective, decision. So just because there's cameras there and VAR after time doesn't make any difference, really. The referees are still getting stuff wrong using the VAR. So I just don't get the point in it. I just think it's spoiling what is a fast-flowing game, what is a spontaneous game. And people, I was talking about it on Twitter and people were going on about rugby league. It's not rugby league, boys. It's not rugby league, it's football, and you're changing the very nature of the game by introducing this.
I almost feel as if a referee, if they go to VAR and they choose to take the time to go to VAR, they're almost more likely to give the decision, because then they have to, there has to be a reason for them to have, to have gone to VAR in the first place. And if it's like a 50-50 decision, almost worry that referees will just go, yeah, I'll give it because they've had to go to it in the first place. It's just a pain in the arse all in. I'm not into it at all.
Okay, Balotelli is next on my list that Craig keeps ripping. On the back of the Mirror today, be afraid. Now Balotelli wants a free Prem return. Can you see that, Evan? Yeah. And this is the idea that Balotelli could return to the Premier League next season on a bargain-free transfer, his agent has claimed. His agent also claims in the same story that in Italy he's number one. He's worth £88 million.
Was that the emoji?
And he's on a free transfer, therefore he's a bargain. I'm negotiating with many clubs in England and in Italy. I've spoken to Juventus, Roma, Napoli and Inter. Balotelli, 27, has scored 20 goals this season.
Do you know what that reeks off? That reeks off. He wants to move to England, and there's no one interested in him. So he's gone to the papers and said Balotelli wants to return to England, and like I'm saying, he's talking to like Roma and that. He's probably just rang them up and gone, "I've got Balotelli here. Are you into that?" Roma? And Roma's gone, "Nah, we've got Dzeko and we've got that other young lad that they've got up front." And all right, sound. I'm talking to Roma though. you know what I mean? I'm not on the European show. I don't know anything about European football. They've got a good young Turkish lad up.
Why would you buy him? Why would you buy him? And why would you take the gamble on him? I mean, so many clubs are taking the gamble on him now. You've heard all the stories. You've heard how mad he is. You've heard what he does in training. You've heard that he orders new phones. You've heard that he scores own goals and thinks it's funny in training. You know, you've seen him argue with people at Liverpool over who's taking a penalty. You've seen him strut round and not put any effort in. You know he's got talent, but you know that he doesn't use it. You know he hasn't got the mentality to go with it. So, yeah, my arse basically Balotelli's
Liverpool was just a gamble too far, wasn't it? And that was the one we took the gamble on and didn't pay off, and now people have decided that he's a wrong, isn't he?
On Talking Reds the other day, you may have seen, and if you haven't, you know, get involved. It was 2 years since Mashiri took charge at Everton, and I had a bit of a rant about them. And Walshy, being Walshy, thanks for that, mate. He decided to clip it, put it on the internet, and loads of blues got on it and went mad and sent me loads of messages. Apparently, so to run it through a few of them, apparently I'm a post-box headed oddity.
I can see that one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I am GR, so like some post boxes have GR on them, don't they? What else was there? I'm a virgin. I've got 2 kids, but yeah.
He's had sex twice.
I've had sex twice. What else was there? I think I'm on Sky Sports. Do I? And someone says that they're going to come up to me in Highton Village and punch me in the face. All the best with that one. Bring it, shit house. But I want to talk about Everton again, just because it pisses them off, and I enjoy pissing them off. Bring it, shit house. So Allardyce today, Allardyce now is reaching the stage where he's really, really amusing me. Not just because he has loads of gravy every day, not just because he injects Bisto, but also just because allegedly. But also just because it's like he's taking the piss out of Everton fans now. This is what he said today. He says the expectation at Everton is the same as Newcastle and the same as West Ham. Everton have won a lot more in the past, but the expectation is as big at West Ham and at Newcastle. He also says he's surprised by reports that he'll lose his job in the summer. At the moment, we're in a very good position, he says. The difference is we're not good enough away from home, but good enough at home. Away form is a long-standing problem. Yeah, no shit, Sam.
I'm starting to like him after quotes like that. I think he's on the wind-up, isn't he?
It is like he's on the wind-up. It's like, you know, how dare anyone criticise me? You know, me, the big man who drinks loads of gravy every day. How dare they criticise me? Sam, you shit. Everton are shit. Everton aren't getting results. And everyone's got every right to criticise you. So
it's just, I think he's now at the stage where it's just self-preservation with him now, isn't it? Like, I think he's saying things just to try and, like, he said something the other week about it was something about the players. It was up to them, and it was just throwing them under the bus. I think he's on the wind up now. I love how our head of operations has come here to stand behind the video to make sure it's going all right. How do you think it's going? Excellent, yeah, it's going.
You didn't see the other bit. On the Anfield app today, we've got our City Talk show as ever, so that'll be on the radio later on and then released as a free podcast tonight. So that'll be looking ahead to the Newcastle game, getting involved in all the football chat around the Reds. AFQ out there as well today. The team talk also, which me and Craig will be on. Maybe we'll be sober by then.
Not if I go to the pub again.
You're not going to the pub before you do a show, lad. So yeah, we're going to be looking at Jurgen Klopp's press conference, having a chat about that. Probably be chatting about Benitez a little bit more and about Newcastle. And yeah, just looking ahead in general to the game. As Craig said before as well, this is an exciting Liverpool side right now. Lots to look forward to with what's left of the season. Big European ties. Manchester United away, Everton away, Chelsea away. Nothing to fear in any of those games. So it's a good time to jump on board and get involved. If you like these videos, do listen to our podcast, because that is our bread and butter. That's what means we can sit here and do these things. That's what's paying, you know, the Anfield Wrap. That's why it exists, because people subscribe to our podcast. So get involved. If you like what we do, support us. That's been the Talking Reds for today. Up the Reds. Have a boss weekend. See you next week.